Welcome back. The Florida Governor Ron DeSantis hitting the presidential campaign trail next week, stumping in the early states of Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. DeSantis will hold events in 12 cities and towns throughout a 4-day span, according to his campaign. Joining me now to discuss is Ed Martin. He's the former chairman of the Missouri Republican Party and a former member of the RNC. Ed, good to have you in on this Friday morning.
Great to be with you, Blake. Thank you.
Yeah. What's your take on the state of the race right now? Obviously, Ron DeSantis jumped in earlier this week. We heard from him just moments ago, his first public speech. But he's got a pretty big hill to climb, right?
Yeah, he's got a big hill to climb. I mean, look, there's a part of this that when I was on the RNC, you mentioned for a couple of years, I learned it was the run up to 2016. You learn that there's sort of races within the race, and one of them is the money race, right? I mean, one of them is the reality. Back in 2016, as you ran up, Jeb Bush, Scott Walker, Donald Trump didn't have a lot of money, but he had earned media, so he had name ID. Ron DeSantis has money, right? Ron DeSantis has enough money to go deep into this process. So I think we're going to start to see the basics of the campaign. But remember, it's all about Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina and Nevada. That's the first 4 states where you compete. So I don't think DeSantis has to panic. His numbers are really bad right now, but he's going to go about workmanlike to build an operation. The problem is, if you go back, look at Scott Walker, he burned through his money quickly and didn't pick up. Yeah. And then you have a problem.
Jeb Bush had $100 million. It didn't matter. You say right. The campaigns, the numbers are bad, but he is at 20-something%. That's more than everyone else behind him put together. So is it that the numbers are bad, or that just no one's going to be able to catch Donald Trump?
Well, that's what I mean. You got to have a path. And one of the paths that DeSantis has to be watching is, will some of these other people get out of the race and their votes go to DeSantis? Doesn't look like Tim Scott's getting out of the race. He's raised a chunk of money. No. Nikki Haley,
he's got money too, yeah.
Right. So the question is, how do you add to your totals? The Trump number's probably pretty hard. And look, if Trump's indicted in the next month by the DOJ, which feels likely to me, he's going to get an even more solid, I think, majority of the Republicans who feel he's being attacked. So you just got to add up the math, and it gets very tough for DeSantis, but he's got the money to stay in the math game and see how it goes.
You talk about the money. Never Back Down is the super PAC that is pushing his candidacy. We've had them on here on NewsNation a bunch recently. They're probably going to spend in the area of about $200 million early on, double Jeb Bush. I'll tell you what is interesting to me, Ed, is that you're starting to see Ron DeSantis and the people around him try to make the argument that Donald Trump is a liberal. We had Ken Cuccinelli on yesterday. I interviewed him, talked to him about it. I want you to listen to what he said, and I'll get your take on that on the backside. Watch.
Yeah.
Part of the appeal of Ron DeSantis is the amazing set of accomplishments without backing down on his conservative principles across the board. Second Amendment, life, the woke mob, as you would call it, whether that's higher education, K through 12, corporations, and Republican voters want someone who'll fight for them on those things. President Trump is with Disney. He's with Anheuser-Busch. He's on the wrong side of these things.
With Anheuser-Busch, with Disney, Ron DeSantis is also called Donald Trump fiscally irresponsible, a supporter of amnesty, pushes back on his COVID handling of all of that. Does this argument that Donald Trump is too liberal for Republicans, is that going to work? They saw what he did in office for 4 years.
Right, exactly. Ted Cruz tried this, right? Ted Cruz said, I'm the conservative. He's not. You can't trust him. Now he's got a record. And, you look inside the numbers, evangelicals, pro-life Catholics, they believe Trump now because of what he did with judges. And here's the reality. Right now in the Republican Party, I'm not sure it's the nation, but in the Republican Party, there's one set of people that the country, Republicans, feel is against them, and that's the swamp. And the swamp is coming after Trump. So Trump can say, don't fight with Mickey Mouse. He said that the other day, because he says that's not where the fight is. The fight is what they're doing to us out of Washington. That's effective in the primary. It may not be effective in the general, by the way, but I have to tell you, DeSantis won't win the general if he's taking on Mickey Mouse. I mean, I got kids. I'm a conservative. As you know, that doesn't work well with sort of normal people, but we're in a primary, and Ken Cuccinelli is trying the Ted Cruz play. Ken was a Ted Cruz guy. It didn't work for Ted. I'm not sure it works after, as you point out, 4 years of trying to be a conservative even if he didn't get it all done.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.